half of our family members are sending us this flyer. And the funny thing is that I think they don't understand our reply to it, right? Because it's like we don't really care. It's like all this stuff sounds great. I mean, what are they really
Why don't you
saying?
explain? You're not saying that much, Fletcher. Tell us what it's
Okay,
all
I'm
about.
sorry. So this is now this whole blackout. I'm posting, uh, Skinny Al
You
Sharpton,
have
which
to
I don't
explain what a
trust.
blackout. Just explain the whole thing.
Okay, so the blackout, it's supposed to mean that you don't buy any goods. You don't basically spend black money uh, on anything that's not a necessity, and they're called in a blackout. Uh, and a lot of people are jumping on this. It's supposed to be tomorrow, first day
Are you
of
serious? I didn't even
Ramadan.
know.
No, yeah, it's supposed to be Friday
I
tomorrow.
gotta buy stuff tomorrow.
It's
I got.
so
I
no,
guess
you're not supposed to buy stuff.
I gotta
And
buy stuff.
this is, of course, Skinny Al Sharpton jumping in it because a lot of people are doing it and talked about it, and he put out his. I mean, I could bring up other flyers. There's a lot of other people also saying the same thing. But basically, is 24-hour blackout on Friday, February 28th, uh, from 12 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. This is the first step to counter the attack on DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, which, like we covered like not too long ago, doesn't really affect uh, the people that you think it affects.
I don't know.
Um,
It just seems very cringe to me.
what? No, they gotta. Don't make any purchases. Don't shop online or in stores. No Amazon, no Walmart, no Best Buy, no McDonald's or other fast food stores. No gas, no major retailers. Don't use credit cards or debit cards for non-essential spending. Try buy all you need before Friday, February 23rd. But if necessary, like there's always a but.
Here's the thing. I don't understand what Target owes me or what they do to me. I already don't go there. I mean, I don't understand why it matters to them what they do because they're their own company. They're a private company. Let them do what they want. I mean, honestly, it's not like the old days where if a school, if, to me, Skinny Al Sharpton is still living off the fumes of 1955. Like it's
Right?
not like back then where literally you be in communities as a person, a black person. I mean, talk to our family members of that age, right? That's going to be our parents and grandparents, and there was nowhere else to shop, and you might go to a place that the policy was blacks had to go literally to the back. They say you will serve you, but you have to go through the shop entrance, stay over there till we get to you. You can't come, and they did these kind. It's documented. You can talk to people about it, but also it's in actually in history books um and pamphlets is written there. I mean, you can. It's easy enough to find this information if you want. I could see then you're like, you know what? As some of them did, I'm going to boycott it. I'm not going to put up with this. We're not going to put up with it. In fact, one of the most famous and successful boycotts is the Montgomery bus boycott. Okay, and that was, I believe, in the late 50s. And Reverend Martin Luther King was involved with it. He gets a lot of credit for it, which I guess is fair, but there were a lot more people who were involved. But that's where you kind of had Rosa Parks, who refused to get up, and that was kind of a staged, because they knew they wanted to do this, because at the time they would not let blacks sit in the front of the bus. They had to sit in the back, and people were like, we're paying our money the same as everyone else. Why can't we sit wherever we want? It's just meant to give us a badge of inferiority, and everyone was tired of it. And if there were no seats in the back, you just had to stand, even though there were plenty of empty seats in the front. And so they were done. So she sat in the front, got arrested, as you know, Rosa Parks. And that was the catalyst for this very successful boycott that lasted over a year, in which there was all these coordinated efforts to have people all stick to it. And to be honest, the Montgomery buses lived off the money of blacks. They used the buses more than anyone, and it crippled them. They wanted to keep up, the principle that, they were for, white now, white forever, white supremacy forever, whatever they were saying at the time. But it didn't work because they were almost going to go out of business. And so they relented and say, fine, sit where you want. You paid your fare. And that honestly is what integrated the buses. It made them, and it was a very successful boycott. But think about it. That was a very different thing. That was a matter of dignity and it was a matter of necessity. A lot of the people needed to go to the buses to go to the store, to go to work. And the churches were so important because they were literally renting cars and helping people get rides and walking together and doing things for that whole year, I think a year and change, until finally the bus was like, fine, you guys, you won. They may not have said it that way, but you won. But how can you compare something noble like that and sensible? Why would a business make people who are your patrons um feel like they're less than? That's different than what I think they want Target to do. I don't know what they want Target to do. What I think they want is for Target to not make any choices they want for what works for them. It's not like if you go to Target, they say, oh, if you're Black, you got to go through a side entrance, or you can't purchase the same way everyone else does. Well, we let other people use credit cards, but you have to use cash. I mean,
Right.
there's nothing that honestly affects your life at Target based on whatever policy decisions they say they're making in the back door. I mean, if they're saying like we are not going to now give a preference to Latinos, Blacks, or women in hiring, if that affects you only if you're looking for a job at Target. I mean, if you're trying to, I mean, I I want you to explain it to me, Fletcher, because I'm not understanding what the what the outrage is here with.
No, no, they don't. You can't buy
I
anything.
don't know what you plan on doing, and if you sitting on your butt and ain't doing nothing, you need to get out and get whatever the hell you need. Because tomorrow ain't no black people shopping. No black, brown people shopping tomorrow.
No black, brown
You
people
heard
shopping
that?
tomorrow.
No
Black,
black and
brown, no
brown people
shopping
shopping
tomorrow.
We ain't got
Can't shop.
time for it.
Got time for it.
Show and prove. Show your ass. If you know damn well people out here playing with our damn pockets, you don't even let your cousin hold $5 and won't give up a dime for shit. So if you could put your cousin out for $5 you could put out all these damn corporate ass businesses for 24 hours. Let's make it happen. Stop fucking around and playing with me. I damn it repeat.
I would like to see how successful this is. Are people really listen? Here's the good thing. I think anybody. We started talking about Lent. And honestly, there are some Catholic people who during Lent will do things like this, not because they're trying to boycott, but because they think it's a good spiritual discipline to just say,
Right.
you know what, I won't shop this whole week, or I won't shop the whole 40 days. Whatever I bought in the house is what we eat, everything in the cabinet. And then right before Easter, you buy food.
Right.
You say, I'm just gonna pray and fast. I'm gonna, not get any clothes. All the toiletries we have, we'll just make that work. If we have to start using baking soda for deodorant, that's what we're going to do. We're
Right. You
not
make it
buying
work.
anything, and we
Yeah.
save the money. I think it's a good discipline. I think Black people do spend too much money a lot of times on a lot of foolishness, and we do put money in people's pockets a lot. We tend to like nice things, and I don't think there's anything wrong with being frugal. I think that's a good thing. If that's what can be accomplished tomorrow, then yeah, that's good. Put money in your pocket. If you save even $20 tomorrow, $5,
Yeah.
start doing it every Friday. Hey, I'm on board. Let's do it every Friday.
Yeah.
Because DEI boycott is not something that motivates me. I'm not interested in that. But I mean, the idea like let's not buy for a day. That's lovely. Yeah. Let's try to see what we can do with our money if we stop like going to Starbucks every day. I like that. Let's do
Yeah.
that.
But the one that I do feel like it's a little demeaning because it does. You're bringing out Reverend Martin Luther King on it. But it's like this is so basically you're just if you can't discriminate, it's all right to do it.
If you
It's
can't
like
get
if
your
you're
way, it's
you
like
can't get your
Skinny
way,
Al
then
Sharpton. You want to be so important. No offense to you, I like you, but you want to be so important. If they don't just topple down when you come in, that's it. We're gonna boycott.
right.
But that's not the way business is done anymore. This is like not 1955, 1965. You actually can actually talk to people. You would get much further if you would just say, hey, I want to make some appointments. I want to hear what are your interests, what's
Yeah.
going
What's your
on,
solutions?
what's your solution, why do you feel. A lot of people are doing the same thing because the direction is clear from the administration. DEI is dead. It's over. It's really over.
Right.
And so you can be out here crying and whining about it, or you can say what's next. I
No,
think
it's
the attitude of, okay, fine, what's next? Let's talk to you, Target. Are you really saying X? Are you really saying you don't want this? Are you saying, and they might say, well, no, Al, we just, okay, well, let's see what we can do. Is there a way that doesn't defy, the directive that still will help my people out? I mean, if he did stuff like that, he would get so much more respect.
because
But he
this
doesn't. He wants to do things that don't work, that used to work maybe in the 50s when there was a great unity among people and it was a real moral harm. It was clear to see that this was wrong. Now nobody sees this as necessarily all the way wrong. I mean, you may not like, first of all, we don't like Target. Target is not for the people. Now, I'll be honest, I think they have really cute things. So sometimes I sneak in there. Now, I did do the boycott that James Dobson, Focus on the Family, did call for, like eons ago, because back then you mentioned it before, Fletcher,
yeah,
where
yeah, yeah.
they were not saying Merry Christmas. They had everything in the store said holiday trees. They wouldn't say even Christmas trees. And we're
Right.
like, why are we going to you to buy stuff and you don't even have respect to call the holiday what it's called? So I joined everybody for that boycott. I didn't go for years, and then I realized I didn't need anything from Target. Why was I going? So even when it was over, I didn't go. But I would go occasionally because they do have really cute things.
No,
But as far as this is concerned, I mean, to me, it's not very clearly delineated. What is it? Like before, I knew you hate Christians, but what do they show me that says they hate blacks or brown? Do you see anything?
well, they're not doing what they were told to do by the Democrat overlords. That this DEI that let's as we mentioned before. I mean, it literally a minuscule amount helps so-called communities of color. Um, it's mostly like rainbow mafia stuff, and I think that this doesn't. It's almost like a shakedown, right? You're almost trying to say, we want you to do a government program or instigate this program. This was not like, with boycotts was, I mean, it was like, if you are taking rights away from us, but show me the rights that you're taking away. You can't say that discriminating against somebody based on a race, it's a right, because this is what those programs have done, and I don't see how this is helping. If he's saying, you know what, we're going to help the community, only shop black, I've seen those, like shop only black business, I fully support that. Whatever you want to do in that kind of sense, but I'm on to the side of every Friday, maybe, you should have almost like a let from it. And just, how, as Catholics we don't eat meat on Friday. Maybe go cold turkey. I'm all for this. Black community, brown community, all of our communities. Let's
I
go
think
ahead
I think you're
and just do it
I think
fast.
I think what you're saying is kind of like enlarging the point that I made. Like if you do it, like keep at it, like save money and think about how in your communities, and you're starting with your own personal domestic community, which is your home, how you can change your life by not shopping on one day a week. Think about what that can do, or even a longer period of time. I guess when you expounded upon it, it made me think of something else, Fletcher, which is, you know what? The problem with this plan is that it's negative. It
Yeah,
doesn't feel like it's something positive you're trying to achieve. You're just trying to, like, I'm going to try to hurt you because I think you're doing the wrong thing. That negative energy is not good. It's not productive. There's a big difference. In St. Francis de Sales is the one. People don't realize this, but it was St. Francis de Sales who came up with the first ever use of the expression, you get more flies with honey than vinegar. Everyone uses it now, but it started with him. He was a saint and a very good writer. And so the very first time we ever see that phrase in print is with St. Francis de Sales, who was actually a really good orator and stood up for the Catholic Church when there was a lot of heresies at the time, a lot of debates with some Protestant groups and saying, the Catholic Church is no good. And he really got a lot of people to stay with us or to come back from these kind of little sects that don't even really exist anymore. You won't even know what they are. Okay, it's not like the Baptists or something. It's like something else. And he was known to, really know how to persuade people to do things. I think the problem here is, um, this one is very much vinegar. What Sharpton is doing is not going to attract the flies. It's not honey because, back in the day when you had people like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all those things, those kinds of boycotts and stuff like that, these people were really not negative. They were seeing themselves as martyrs. In fact, many of them were Christian people, very, very devout. They had a lot of firm faith. Think about it. A lot of things, it was like a very active church that would go out and do these um, demonstrations and so forth. They were prepared to be arrested. They were prepared to be beaten. They were prepared. They said they offered it to the Lord because, God does not approve of this kind of hatred. And it's not just for themselves. It was for, the people that they were um, protesting. I mean, think about what Martin Luther King said. He was like, you know what? We're not free, but neither are you. I think there was a positivity about that, a kind of honey, a kind of, a strength. I'm not saying that whole movement was without fault because it's that would be untrue. You're dealing with humans, but I think there was a kind of energy that was kind of neat. This one is dead. I mean, I'm sorry. The flyer is dead. The flyer has no life to it. I mean, what is that? Looks like
Well,
something your kid.
this one's more fancy.
Okay. Yeah. What's the rabbit though?
I have no clue.
What's the rabbit?
I have no clue.
It's a
But
pretty, it's a very pretty image. You're right. It has a little bit more. It's definitely not as low energy as the
yeah,
last one.
it's not as low energy.
Hey, you know what? This is to me, look, if let's take out the word boycott. I think this would have been a much smarter move. Look at this wonderful poster. I love the colors. Take out the word boycott. And if you just said, look, my people, first of all, everything's expensive. Inflation's through the roof. We have Doge out here trying to save money. I have a project for us. Let's do the same. And then let's use this money to do something good in our communities. I'm on board.
Right?
Let's
How
use
hard is
this
that?
money. That would be awesome. Like, listen, we don't give a crap about Target. Who gives it? Who
Who-
stakes their claim on Target or
Right?
Costco? No. Say we're gonna pool this money. Even if you don't pool it, if it's just pooled in your household, go on vacation. Get your mama something nice. Buy your kid a set of encyclopedias. Nobody does that anymore. I'm dating myself. Um, put together a local school. Over time, this money adds up. Let's put it into a small bank and then see what your community, maybe you're going to have a rec center. They gave so many of these centers away to the migrants, so to speak, right? There's areas of New York City where kids had parks they're no longer able to go to. Chicago, there's rec centers that are just closed because they were used for, quote, migrants. Say, look, we're going to rent a place for our kids to play ball. You could do so many things. All of us
Well,
pool our
look,
money and don't buy. I love it. That's it. I'm on board with that.
yeah, I mean, they're looking at 18 billions for shady contracts for these things that are empty that was supposed to be for not helping people out. So, I mean, there is stuff out there that you could do. There is
First
stuff
of
that
all, I don't think this is I don't know what this economic boycott is, but I don't get the feeling this is for our people. There's nothing about this image that makes me think it's being marketed to Black and brown people. I think this is probably marketed to millennial, white millennial and Zoomer people. It looks like a kind of like in the old days we would have said yuppies. I mean, that's what it looks like. This is a kind of like Banksy, kind of Keith Haring, esque image. And, it doesn't say anything about DEI on it. So I think there's something else going on. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see, Fletcher.